The Golden State Warriors don't make the playoffs. And now the real questions arise. What is the path back to success for the Golden State Warriors?
ThaAuthenticTake, the real, no fake. ThaAuthenticTake, yeah, the real, no fake. Top of the dome where the plays get cracked. Chisney and cigars keep the game on track. ThaAuthenticTake, y'all better tap in. No fluff, straight facts, no capping.
Well, first off, this has just been a gut-wrenching season if you're a Golden State Warriors fan like me. And basically, you heard the rumblings during the season, but after the Phoenix Suns kind of closed the chapter on our season, as Draymond and Steph, came out of the game, I was sent into a tailspin after seeing and hearing Steve Kerr hug Steph and Draymond and just tell him he loves them to death if this is it. And that just freaked me out as a Warriors fan. And to me, by that happening, I just really felt like, man, that's it, at least for, Coach Kerr. But first, the main headline, Coach Kerr, he just came out and said that, these coaching jobs, they do have an expiration date and he wants to think about his future. So he kind of left it as like 50-50. And I just kind of don't know what to think right now, because I would think he wants to finish off with at least Steph, start with Steph, end with Steph in his coaching career. But then again, Steve Kerr has just kind of looked wiped out the whole season. I think as the playoffs were getting close, I feel like he was kind of getting his edge back and remembering, okay, playoff time, this is kind of what I live for and everything. But I think being without Steph for like, 2.5 months, I feel like just sucked all the energy out of him. So I kind of, he's not like leaving it. It's an open-ended question. So I'm just kind of confused. It's kind of like he said goodbye, but he didn't shut the door. And, Warriors fans that are so quick to like jump out the window and stuff have been wanting him gone this whole season based on the Kaminga situation. And I'm just kind of like, if you shipped out Kaminga and Kerr were button heads, wouldn't you only ship out Kaminga if you knew you weren't bringing back Steve Kerr? Because if you knew, okay, at the end of the season, this is enough of Kerr, wouldn't you keep Kaminga? Because, he's a rising star. I mean, look what he just did against the Knicks. I mean, that's kind of saying something. I'm not putting all the eggs in his basket right now, but you know what I mean. So I'm kind of confused on it. And then I thought about another thing as well, that Billy Donovan stepped down as the Chicago Bulls coach. Maybe Steve Kerr wants to go to his old stomping grounds and bring back the Chicago Bulls to glory. There's been no rumors or anything. That's just simply the authentic takes speculation. But I was thinking about that. You know, uh, they got a few players over there. They got Giddy, who actually allegedly Kerr wanted to draft. One of the guys he wanted to draft that he didn't get, and didn't end up getting to draft. So you just kind of wonder. They got a few players over there, but basically with Steve Kerr situation, a lot of sources have been coming out this week saying he's pretty much gone. And with that being said, I don't know what to think. I don't know if he's staying or going. And a big thing that came out was that he said if he stays, he wants a multi-year extension, like at least like a 2-year extension, which I don't got a problem with that. Why not just match his contract up with Steph? And if Steph gives him the idea that, yeah, hey, I think this is it after 2 years, then if I'm Steve Kerr, I want to be here if you want me, and I will sign the same length of contract as Steph Curry. But so to wrap that up, I don't know what direction it's going right now, but it has to probably clear itself up before the draft lottery. So because the Warriors have a 9% chance to get the top pick, which is always cool. We never get it, but it's always cool. You never know. So we have the 11th pick right now, and Dallas had the 11th pick going into the lottery, and they ended up getting number one, and they got Cooper Flag. So anything could happen. But without drawing into that yet, okay, Steve Kerr, I don't know what he's doing. And then going into Steph Curry, it was a down year, but I don't think he's really been injured like this since his first couple years, where his glass ankles were really like a concern for his longevity of his career. But look what happened. So, I think all the concerns with Steph, besides his age, because you got to always take his age into consideration, is that his runner's knee will get a lot taken care of with rest this offseason. And I think a lot of the concern of, oh, is Steph retiring next year or whatever, I think kind of goes out the window, because at his, end of the season presser, he basically said that, yeah, he wants to sign an extension, and he wants to play a couple more years. So, and I think he's just kind of saying a couple more years just because he wasn't expecting this injury this year. So maybe 3 years. So who knows? But I'm glad that he gave initial clarity on this instead of the whole speculation of, oh, maybe he wants out or wants to go to a contender, because Stephen A and all those people starting that shit right now, I just think is bullshit. I hate it. You do not need to do that. Like, I know you want ratings, but it's like, we know Steph is that one jersey guy. And obviously I'm biased, but he's that one jersey guy. The Kobe, I was gonna say Jordan, but I mean, we think about Jordan because, we don't want to think about the wizard. But yeah, he's just that one jersey guy, the Tim Duncan. So I just hate when they do that. But Steph Curry gave a lot of clarity, so therefore, like, I'm very content on what he's gonna be in the future, especially for the Warriors. Draymond, he kind of confuses me, because this whole year, like I've said before, that I've been kind of down on him, just the distractions and everything, fighting with Kerr on the sideline, just open his big yap on everything. Well, these playing games, I really liked them. Like, obviously the Clippers game, just magnificent defense, and really got the credit from his opponent, saying that, yeah, basically I got shut down by Draymond. So you gotta love that. And I liked him in the Phoenix game. I liked that, when it was clear that we were going to go down in this game, I like that he was talking his little crap to Devin Booker. you know, like, why not? Like, those things are acceptable, but when we're in the game and he's just yapping his yap and it's going to cost us points, that's the stuff I don't like. But he is saying that, I think the whole trade deadline stuff, where he was finally made known that, yeah, he was kind of on the trade block, even though Mike Dunleavy wants to act like he wasn't. I think that, and Draymond thinks as well, he might not be back with the Warriors. And I don't think Draymond wants to, like, call it a wrap, yet. And one thing that might be small that I seen, that I was like, okay, when he got thrown out of that game against Phoenix and he's walking to the tunnel, Mike Dunleavy, he walks past Mike Dunleavy, and Mike Dunleavy is stone faced. I don't even think they dapped or anything, shook hands, and you could just tell something is up. And I don't know, it's just weird. So for it not being all love, that's what gives me kind of curiosity that, maybe Draymond, will not be a Warrior next season, which I always talk my crap, but, Draymond is a huge part of what the Warriors dynasty was. And I especially think, and all the LeBron lovers are going to hate me like always, but I honestly think the year Cleveland won the championship, if Draymond wasn't suspended for game 7, we would have won that game and we would have had another title, and it would have been, complete dominance, by the Warriors. But, coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. But I do think Draymond has a decision to make, because I believe he has a player option. So this one confuses me too, just like the Kerr situation. It's like, and I'm good either way, I guess, like, because playoff Draymond, you just can't deny him. But 82 game season Draymond, he's huffing and puffing the whole way, barely making it to the finish line. So I don't know what you want to do there. And then I just guessed everybody else, like Porzingis. I think that's kind of 50-50 because, what I seen in the Clipper game was just, I loved it. Just him, those putback dunks. Like, we need a big guy like that because Quentin Post ain't doing that. He might be leaving this season. We just don't have anybody else like that. But that's what we need. Because I feel like when the Warriors started winning championships, it was because we acquired Andrew Bogut. Like, we needed a big guy. He filled the void, and we started winning after that. And then you seen the big guys we had after that. It was like Andrew Bogut, Mo Spates. We had like Jordan Bell, who's a nice fill-in. We just had big guys, JaVale McGee. So yeah, I like him as a big guy. I love that he's not scared to, shoot from the perimeter. I like him all around. The health is the factor. My thing is, the Bay Area is good with medicine and science and everything. So I think he might have incentive to stay, and I wouldn't be against the Warriors re-signing him. Hopefully we can get him to a minimum, but who knows with that. And then another guy, Melton. I'm glad we signed him this year because to me, he's always been a defensive guy, and he showed spurts during the season. But the way he was playing in the playing games, I'm like, let him go. Like, I did not like the way he was playing. It was almost like he was out there playing like, he didn't give a crap. And he's definitely a guy I don't think we should, keep around. Just not an incredible fan of Melton. Trying to think of some other guys. I know Quentin Post, his contract is up. I feel like they're going to still sign him to a minimum just so we have depth and size. And next year is just kind of going to be up in the air because there's a lot of rumors that we're going to go after LeBron or Kawhi, which, hey, go after them by all means. But we're probably not going to get Jimmy Butler back until like January. And then Moses Moody is probably out for the year. I mean, Moses Moody is what he is, but, he's decent. He's not like, oh, we need Jimmy Butler back, someone like that. But he is youthful. He does have a 3-point shot. I do like the defense that he provides. So it just kind of feels like everything is up in the air, and who knows what we do with the draft. If we get a high pick, are we going to trade that for someone, maybe a key player just to ride out Steph's, career? So, let's just see where we go with this. The death of a dynasty. Is this real or fugazi? I gotta say, it's got credibility, so it's real. That the best years of the Warriors, at least in this tenure, are over, and we just gotta do our best to move on or adapt or reload, whatever we want to do. But the front office needs to make it clear what we want to do. As far as for the Golden State Warriors, is it time to hit the panic button? I think as soon as Jimmy Butler went down, it was time to hit the panic button. And I think there is a little panic because I just don't think the Warriors really are letting it known, or maybe they don't even know what direction they're going in. Is it ride out Steph's career, or are we rebuilding? So I think it is definite time to hit that panic button. And to wrap it up, my authentic take of this video about the Golden State Warriors is, as a longtime Warriors fan, I kind of feel like I don't know where we're going. The obvious is let's ride out Steph's final years and give him a chance to make a run in the playoffs. But how close are we to doing that? Really? Like, how close? One thing actually that I forgot to mention previously in the video is Brandon Podemski, and I think we definitely should re-sign him. He's due for an extension, so there. But back to my authentic take of the video is I just don't know where we're going. That's how I feel. It's just like, are we like half in, half out, riding for Steph's chance at one more championship, or are we more team oriented, thinking let's just invest in the draft, let's get young players? I don't even know, because our young players are kind of like really not doing anything. I like Will Richard. Post, I'm kind of out on. Podemski, he gets a bad rap, but imagine if we didn't have him. We'd be probably pretty bad off. Moses Moody, I think, is still considered a young player. He definitely has a upside after his injury. So I just don't know what we're doing. That's basically my authentic take. Is I don't know what path we are going for right now. But this is what I think. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Authentic Take. Until next time.
Authentic take, the real, no fake. plays get cracked. Chisney and cigars keep the game on track. Authentic take, y'all better tap in. No fluff, straight facts, no capping.